Okay, guys, let's get started. Am I audible to all of you?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks. So, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining in. So today we have Guneet with us, who got GMAT 695. I'm sure you have read the message, and she got into various business schools, right? For like she got into ISB, NYU, Yale, and Tuck. And also we have Shivani with us. She's the founder of an admission consulting firm. It's called Edumate, and she helped thousands of people for admissions which got into top B schools around the world. And she is an ISB alum herself. So that's about Shivani. And also, I'm here. I'm Pankaj, founder of a company called PrepSet. We help people with GMAT and GRE prep. So I help Guneet with the GMAT, and Shivani helped Guneet with her ISP applications in particular. So, uh, so guys, the agenda of today's session is that we'll try to understand from Guneet that what really helped her for GMAT prep as well as admissions. So the session is going to be in three different phases, three sections actually. The first section is about test prep. I'm going to ask some questions to Guneet. What actually worked for her when it comes to GMAT prep, what did not work for her also. We'll try to cover some commonly asked questions as well, but feel free to put your questions in the chat. Second section is about the admission process. Uh, Shivani is going to take that section. So she's going to ask questions to Guneet about the admission process in particular. And then towards the end, we'll have a open Q&A. But you don't need to wait for that. Please put all your questions in the chat. Uh, you know, first, in order to have a session without any disturbance or any issues, we would really appreciate if you just don't ask any question when we are discussing. Please wait for your turn. But feel free to put all your questions in the chat. We will definitely take them in the end. So with that, let's get started. So Guneet, I remember that you approached me last year for the GMAT prep, right?
Yeah.
So, the first question to you is that uh, what all you have used. I'm not talking about the classes that you took. I'm talking about the resources, maybe any public forum or any, material, and how much total time did it take? But sorry, before that, Puneet, can you tell our audience that when did you start your prep and how many attempts did you know take? Because you have taken multiple attempts, and I'm sure there are some people out here who maybe have taken GMAT already and they might be in the same situation as you were. So please tell all of us about your number of attempts and what resources did you use? Yeah.
Yeah. So just to start off, it took me like more than a year, I would say 1.5 years or so to basically crack it.
Yeah.
Um, and in terms of the number of attempts, I did give one OG GMAT way back, but that was like with very minimal prep. I did not prep that much just to gauge the exam pattern, etc. And then I gave four attempts for the Focus edition, and the fourth
Mhm.
one was basically the one when I got the 695 score. So it took me like multiple attempts to reach that to figure out the exam fully. Uh,
Ah,
I mean, it really depends from person to person. So I don't know if that's a typical number, not a typical number. And then in terms of the resources, since it was a very long journey, I did leverage multiple resources. Some were from some institutes, some were like open sources as well. Like GMAT Club was, I think, very helpful. in all of this.
Yeah.
And I think GMAT itself has like the OG guide as well. So those questions also I leveraged. And
Right.
in the last leg, I mean, for the final attempt, like whatever questions we practiced in the classes, I think that was mostly it. So I personally leveraged a lot of resources because every time, because I was not hitting the right score, I thought that maybe I'm not
Right.
getting the right material. So for me, it was very varied from
Yeah.
institute specific to open as well. So anything and everything that came to me, I had practiced basically.
Right. So adding to this point, I remember this. In fact, I have when Puneet reached out, she had already taken GMAT thrice, and her score was in the range of 605 to 615, which is actually not that bad, depending on what you are targeting. For someone who are targeting 645, 655, that's just 50 points short. And I remember that discussion with her. She was like, Pankaj, I only need 40, 50 points improvement. If we can do that, that would be really great. But she eventually got 695. That's a different story altogether. So we'll talk about that. Puneet, also, for our audience, can you tell your background, your educational background, and if you can touch upon your work experience also, because a lot of people think that in order to get a very high quant or DI score, you need to be from a maths background or engineering background, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so I come from a commerce background. So 11th, 12th, I had commerce with maths, and post which I did my BMS, which is Bachelor's of Management Studies from Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies,
right,
University. That was a 3-year course, and I graduated in 2020. And post that, I joined Bain and Company, their BCN segment here in Gurgaon. Worked there for more than 5 years. So, like Bain and Company is into management consulting. So, like research, analysis, problem solving. That's the
right,
basic bread and butter for the company, and that's what I have experience in. And like personally, since you talked about quant, um, I personally was okay with it since beginning. So I usually felt that my quant is probably slightly stronger than others. So um, I mean, it again depends from on your strengths, weaknesses, but that's my overall background, what I've done, studies, and my experience as well.
right. Okay. But do you think that, uh, coming from a non-math background, really actually has any disadvantage when it comes to, standardized tests, especially the quant and DI sections?
I don't think so. Like, personally, I don't think so. Why? Because the kind of quant or the kind of reasoning that's tested is not like very, I would say, technical that you need to have like some concepts like you don't need to know derivatives, etc., to actually solve
Yeah,
quant concepts. I would say
right,
your maths or your quant up till class 10th is basically which everyone studies, I think forms the fundamentals for solving these questions. So I
mm,
personally don't think that if you're from any background, like any non-engineering or a non-quant background, I feel that it's a fair gameplay. So I don't think that it's a disadvantage at all.
understood. Okay, the next question is, you know, like I would say this is true in the present scenario that every school around the world, even in India, even if you go for ISB or IIMs for their executive MBA programs, they do accept GMAT and GRE both, right? And I get this question all the time that which one is easier? Should I go for GMAT or should I go for GRE? So in your case, when you reached out, you told me that Pankaj, I would like to go for the GMAT. But have you ever explored GRE? If yes, then why did you choose GMAT over GRE?
Got it. Uh, Honestly, I did not explore GRE that much because, as I said before, I started like it was a very long journey and I started with GMAT. So, over time, I just got a bit more comfortable with the pattern of GMAT. and like the sections, and so I just wanted to stick with it. That said, there are like again some personal fit checks as well that probably you can do. For me, early on, I had identified that my quant is better than verbal. I had like tested
Hmm.
out in multiple practice sessions, and even when I gave it, and personally as well, I found to be like I was more confident and comfortable with quant. And
Yeah.
within the patterns of GMAT and GRE, and a lot of people also that I talked to,
Hmm.
it just made more sense for me to stick to GMAT, since I think GMAT tests or like a slightly, I would one notch, I would say, up in difficulty for quant, and verbal, I would say like GRE has that difficulty lens. Like that's again a personal opinion.
Yeah.
Since I
Yeah.
was comfortable with the exam pattern and I was comfortable with quant, I wanted to stick with GMAT. And in
Yeah.
the DI section, like when you talk about these charts and these insights, I would say my job experience also came in handy, because we in Bain we used to see a lot of those. So I just again played to my strengths and thought that GMAT is probably the right fit for me.
Right. Okay, since you brought this point, I would like to mention one thing. Yes, if you come from a consulting background, you are very much comfortable with data insights.
Yeah.
Uh, Thanks to Guneet also, I happen to help, I think three, four people from Bay now so far. And all of them, are really, really good at, I would say, data analytical skills. And I'm sure, consulting has something to do with it. But, uh, when it comes to choosing between GMAT and GRE, yes, it's subjective, no doubt about it. If I talk about the quant section, GRE is on easier side. The amount of reasoning that you need to apply in a quant GRE question is easier. So this is not subjective. So this is actually a fact. Although ETS and GMSC does not accept this, they always have this war going on that this is easier, this is easier. But anyways, the verbal is subjective. I would say if you are good at vocabulary, if you have a decent vocabulary, and reasoning is required in both. It's not that reasoning is not required. It's actually reasoning based test, both of them. But GMAT is more about analytical in terms of whether you can analyze an argument, you can see a flaw in it, you can strengthen the argument. So CR is heavy, right? Whereas in GRE, you get CR based questions, but that are part of reading comprehension. So in the end, I would always suggest a person to take a mock of each test, see what which test you're more comfortable with, not look at the score. Because if you're taking a test without any prep, don't expect a great score. But you would definitely get an idea. In fact, on this call, I'm helping Nimish. He's a GRE. He's doing GRE with me. Astat is doing GMAT with me. So, lot of people also happens to make a switch, but don't make a switch because your friend is saying that GRE is easier. Because GRE might be easier for your friend or colleague, but not for you. So that is there. I can see a question from Acer. Acer, that's actually going to my next question for Guneet because that's also very common. So Guneet, the next question is, how much time did it take to prepare for exam like GMAT to get a score like 695? So can you please go through all of us that how much total time did you spend? In fact, if you can tell us what was your study plan like? Because I'm sure you had a demanding job, so you managed to study along with your job, right? So this is a very common question that, okay, I am not getting time on weekdays. If I only study on weekends, is that enough? Right. So can you just go through that? And also please let us know resources I've already touched upon. If there is anything to add here, please do.
Yeah. So, uh, so that's a very difficult question for me, because since I took so much of time to crack it. I had different cycles, and as I think, as you correctly mentioned, my job had a very big influence on my time to prep, because it was pretty demanding, and if like a case comes, you're stuck with it, and then the travel time as well. So All of these factors do play a big role. But that said, I would say that if there is someone who have time only on the weekends, that's great. Like you should try to maximize it. Like probably study for like 5 to 6 hours at least. But like just don't neglect your weekdays, because for me consistency, I would say, was more important than giving in a lot of hours just on the weekends, because I tested out both. I just practice on the weekends, and then I also tested out like weekdays only 1 to 2 hours plus weekends. And even if on weekends you reduce the number of hours, for me the second approach worked better, because I feel that I would strongly recommend that please be consistent, because if you don't practice for like 5 days straight, I feel that you're back to square one and you need to start again. So please, it is very difficult. Like it might be one of the most difficult things, but lose out on your sleep or whatever. Or if you're traveling, just like do it on the commute, but just study for 1 to 2 hours. So I had set targets that I need to do like 2 RCs every day, regardless of what happens, and I will not sleep unless and until I've done 2 RCs. And similar like for quant as well, like if I need to do 20 questions of this topic, I will do 20 questions. And like that, you can't negotiate there, because otherwise once your flow breaks, you're back to
Yeah.
the same starting position. So if you have time on the weekdays, great, just practice, I think 2 to 3 hours. And I personally would say like practice both, like do 1 hour quant, 1 hour verbal, because again, if you just do like quant for 3 4 days straight,
Mhm.
your verbal suffers and vice versa. So I
Yeah.
would say like just do, even if you're not studying that much, but please study every day, and use your weekends to the maximum, because that's like your no job days. So you have to like give mocks or like sectionals, and do that long sittings, which I did
Yeah.
initially, but I had like different cycles because it was such a long journey. But do practice like every day. uh,
Yeah.
would be like consistency over everything would be my like a very genuine suggestion.
Got it. So let me add something here. This is something I tell everyone who comes to me and asks this question, that how much time do I need to spend every day? I always say it's a reasoning based test, and reasoning is a skill, it's not a knowledge. Knowledge is that knowing the formula of, let's say, HCF, knowing what is prime factorization. This is knowledge. But this is a reasoning based. Reasoning is a skill. You need to know how to apply that knowledge to a question. And you will lose on skills if you don't practice. And this actually comes from the habits that we have developed in our college. This is what I feel. In our college, we always started studying 1 week before, 1 month before, right? Before the exam. And people do come to me and say that, okay, I have all the weekends with me. I will spend 6, 7 hours on, Saturday, 6, 7 hours on Sunday, but I don't have time on weekdays. But people don't understand that this is skill-based test. You have to spend, sometime every day. It requires a lot of discipline. Even if you're spending 1 hour every day, I would say that's enough. If your job is too demanding, because people ask me this question, and I can only get 1 hour, is that enough? This is enough. If you can't do more, this is enough. But make sure you do it every day. As Guneet rightly said, if you don't study for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, in a row, then you actually lose on reasoning skills. If the gap is higher, you will lose more. Because I know a lot of people who get some break, maybe something beyond their control, which is fine. But sometimes people, you know, take this very lightly, that, okay, let's not study for 1 month. I will see later. No, you lose a lot. So once you make up your mind that, okay, I would like to start with the prep and I need to hit this score, then you have to be consistent. Okay. One more question, which is like, you have taken the GMAT multiple times, and a lot of people does that. Uh, Guys, first of all, if you take a GMAT multiple times, your B school will not take it in a negative way. So don't think that way. This is not an Indian thing. This is a global thing we are talking about. I read school's website all the time they clearly say that if you have taken GMAT multiple times, we will look at your highest score, right? And nowadays you can report your score, right? So if you report multiple scores to a school, right, you don't need to worry about that. School always look at the highest score. Okay, Guneet, so my question is that if someone is already taken GMAT, let's say twice, thrice, or even once, right? And let's say if someone has taken uh, uh, twice or thrice and their score is not improving, right? So their score plateaus. What would you suggest to that person? Because people really get demotivated sometimes and they don't know what to do. So,
Yeah. Like I can totally relate to that because up till like my final attempt, even I was not able to break that ceiling.
yeah.
Even though like my practice sessions were fine and you might feel that we are doing well, but I feel on the actual exam day,
Mm.
everything needs to go right in order to like for you to get that score. Um, but that said, I mean, just don't lose hope. I would say like keep practicing because once you like give that attempt, uh,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a very high urge of taking a break or probably like delaying it that it's not happening
Hmm.
now. But just like try to fight it because you're still in that, I would say, headspace that you have practice up till like day 30. So like
Mm.
don't wait for 20 days and because on day 50, as we discussed, we'll be on day zero. So rather
Okay.
like just take understandable that you take 1 or 2 days off, but like
Mm.
day 33, probably if not a lot, but just again start your prep. And when I say
Mm.
start your prep, start by, I would say, analyzing your actual attempts. I think
Mm.
going back to how we also started like these classes, the first class that we took in PrepSet was just about discussing my attempts that we did, uh,
Yeah.
wherever, what my weaknesses are, what my strengths are. So I think
Right.
that is a very good approach to actually see what and where you're actually lacking.
Right.
And I would say like two things. Time yourself because you might know that you know you're conceptually very strong in some topics, but when you just need to do a question under a minute or like 1.5 minutes, sometimes you're not able
Hmm.
to crack it. So, like always do timed practice because
Okay.
I personally felt that in some sections my score also dropped because I was not able to complete the sections itself, and that had a penalty to it. So
Right.
just don't just try to time yourself, be a bit more efficient would be one, and
Mm.
again just focus on your weak areas a bit more rather than I think I use that approach recommended by you. So I for the stronger topics I did not practice that much. And for weaker topics we did like a lot of extra questions. So I think that also really helps. So analyzing your mocks should be your step one. And then
Yeah.
once you have that, just focus on the concepts of your weak areas and simultaneously your timing of the strong areas. And then once your weak areas are also there conceptually, time yourself and like just be more efficient, I would say. Because if your concepts timing are strong, then your accuracy automatically, I feel, increases.
Right. Right. Right.
I would say,
So, yeah, yeah, got it. So, Vineet, this is from prep point of view. Just one more thing about that. So, from a test taker's point of view, how to keep yourself motivated when it comes to, retaking your score is not improving. What do you say on that? Because I'm sure a lot of people here, have taken the exam once and, not once, I'm sure twice or thrice, right? Because this is very common, right?
yeah,
So, how to, not go into that zone, okay, I'm done with this. This exam is not for me.
I think it's about thinking about your target. I think if
Okay.
like you're very headstrong that I want these XYZ schools or I want to get into one of the top 10 schools, then
Mm.
not to sound harsh, but if you're not able to crack it, I know a lot of like these schools say that we don't just look at your scores, we look at your entire application. But I
Right.
personally feel that score plays an important role, especially when it comes to scholarships as well. So, score is a very important component, and if someone wants to get into a good business school, you need to get that score. So either you let go of your dream of studying into like XY
Yeah.
university, or like you just be consistent and like you start studying. Because
Mm,
I say like there's no in between. You can't like say that I want to get there but not put in the effort.
yeah.
If I want to do this, then this is what is required. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Right. And
and
I would like to add one thing. You always knew as a person that, okay, this is not my, fullest potential. I can do more. I
yeah,
know that I can do more. I just need some guidance. So,
yeah,
so this is also another point. Fine. So, Puneet, I'm going to ask you some questions, which is, just a rapid fire format because we have very limited time. So, whatever comes to your mind, feel free to answer. And let's do it as a one liner if you can, right? So first thing is people think that, okay, this is a maths test and English test. What do you think? It's a maths or English test, or it's actually a reasoning test? Which one
reason,
helps you more? Right.
reason.
I think after taking GMAT multiple times, I'm sure you have
Yeah,
realized this, that
yeah,
this is, yeah. So I tell this all the time, but sometimes people don't understand this because they always see, what's they are doing, right? So they're solving maths question, verbal questions. So they're thinking that, okay, this is simply maths and verbal. And they say that, okay, I was not very good at maths. My score was very low in 10th or 11th or 12th. Is this exam for me? So, guys, doesn't matter. Trust me. I know a lot of people not coming from strong maths background, cracking this exam, not from English background, cracking the exam. On the other way, if you're coming from engineering background or a strong English literature background, does not mean that you can, you know, crack these exams very easily. Okay. Second question is quantity of question solving, uh, during the prep, or quality of questions.
quality, definitely
Right.
quality.
So when I say quality, I mean that not just solving the question, but solving the question and analyzing the questions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where is that at? Got
yeah,
it. Another thing is, this is very interesting. People think of this as, this exam requires all the technical skills. You need to know the concepts, application process. Yes, these all are required. But Guneet, what do you think about underlying skills like managing time? Stamina. You need to have a stamina to sit for a straight hours, right? And third is decision making. When to guess a question and move on. Because I see this every time when people start taking mock tests, they get attached to a question that they
yeah,
end up spending 4 5 minutes per question, right? So
yeah.
what's your take on that? Do you think that these skills are as important as the other skills, like technical skills, stamina building, time management, all these skills?
And it comes from practice, honestly. It won't come in the
Yeah,
classroom.
but they are as important as the technical skills. It's
Yes,
not that you know how to solve a question and you can get the answer, because at the end of the day you have to solve the question in the given time,
correct.
right? You
Yeah,
have to do three sections without any break. So stamina is also there, right?
definitely equally
Okay.
important. Yeah,
Uh, this is something which I see a lot these days, performance anxiety while taking mocks or actual tests. So is it just a myth, or this is actually true? People do get anxious. Or were you anxious while you were taking mocks or actual tests? Was that even a factor?
I think it's true. Because when
Yeah.
there's a lot at stake and you're heading into the center, I feel that um, it gets to you at times. But I
Mm.
think it in the exact moment how you like react is, what reflects in your score, I would say, because you have practiced enough. It's just about
Yeah.
how you do it in that particular time frame. So again, I would
Right.
comes from practice, like do a time mock and just put yourself
Yeah.
in that position before and see how you're doing. And then only.
Got it. Got it. I would like to add one thing. Test anxiety is a real thing, guys. You are not the only one who's facing it. Everyone is facing it. I read a lot of posts on LinkedIn from global test takers, not just Indians. They do feel this. There are ways to work on that. In fact, there are some books available, right? You can always reach out to me for that. So yes, performance anxiety is real. If you're feeling that, please. work on it. Okay, one last question. Uh, One thing that test taker really overthink about GMAT prep, like a very common thing, or maybe you have also overthought about it. If you can
I
think
think
some.
practicing different types of questions, I would say,
Yeah.
because we
Okay.
want to like do everything, but I think it's more
Mm-hmm.
about having a very strong grip on the basic concepts and fundamentals, because then you
Yeah.
can solve anything and everything that's thrown at you.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much, Guneet. This is really helpful for regarding the GMAT prep. Shivani, over to you. And I'm really sorry I took more time than I was given. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Guneet, for these insights. And I actually related a lot to all the things you said because I had also taken the GMAT 3 times, and maintaining uh, that patience and that motivation it's very difficult. Honestly, it's very difficult. But if you have a target school in mind, it is something which really helps. So we're going to discuss about the application, and I know for a fact that many people here are very nervous about it because it's sort of a black hole. There is no right answer. There is no uh, there is no perfect answer for anything, and you've been through the entire process. So it is something which everyone is very anxious about, and right now because of AI, it's very easy to give very general answers,
Yeah.
but that is not actually the solution to things, which you know very well. So I'll just be asking a couple of questions. I also have a rapid fire, which will maybe make things a little more exciting. So for starters, Guneet, you already had a very strong brand name in your resume, which a lot of people are also vying for. The Bain brand basically, and you also had that like a sustainability profile, the business side of sustainability. And what made you apply? Like, what was your big reason of going for an MBA? Because you did have one. I just wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, sure. Uh, I think it was just related to my post MBA plans. So I was part of Bain, just to clarify. However, I was not able to function as a front end consultant because like there are some skills probably just that you get or you equip yourself with in an MBA, like probably managing skills, leadership skills, etc. So I really want to continue into the management consulting field, but as a front end consultant. So that clarity was there for me since the beginning. So I just went ahead that MBA is the answer to that. And personally, for me, I also wanted some kind of a global exposure because I feel that that makes you a bit more open to ideas and like gives you a fuller experience. That might be specific to me, but that was my goal. So that's why I applied to like a couple of business schools and why I actually went for an MBA. And as you said, like I did have some sustainability experience as well. So I also have some ideas here and there that an MBA can help me with post, I completed in the sustainability side as well.
Yeah. So one thing about your application was that like one very good thing about it, let's just put it that way, is that you connected the dots very well. Like you collated some experiences from your childhood and from what your parents had gone through, and you had then put it across as why you want to get into an MBA school, which was extremely smart. And this is something which, a lot of candidates who actually get in, they try to connect the dots. So tell me a little about this process. Tell me how you got here and how you got over that urge to maybe, just list your achievements. A lot of students have this, that you're just like listing all the things you had a lot of things in your resume, but your actual application did not have this. So tell me more about this.
So I think I'm sure everyone must have heard this, like be authentic, but it's not just like a quote probably or like just a suggestion, but it actually works. And when I feel that when you're writing your essays or like you're thinking about your stories, don't just focus on your achievements because like they also know that you've achieved a lot XYZ, but it's about when the times that you have failed or probably your learnings and how that probably turned you or probably what you learned from it. So like I would say talk about your actual experiences. We might feel that probably it's a very small thing, like maybe you were part of some sports or you just helped start some sports team as well, or like you led something. I think that initiative, those stories are very more, like I would say way more impactful than when you just talk about, oh, I did XYZ things, I have 10 awards or whatever, because every other applicant would also have that. So just be more authentic. Just think a lot about your life experiences and just, I would say, connect it to your stories, and that's how your profile will stand out.
Yeah, and not just the good stuff, like even the gray areas are some things which actually build a very nice story.
Yeah,
One more very interesting thing you mentioned is that you might think that it's not very big, but
yeah,
it is actually good. So we fall into this bias in our heads that what we do is not good enough, like that imposter syndrome.
yes,
So it is something which I think it takes some time to get over because we are not used to writing about ourselves. We're not used to writing our story. So this
yeah,
is something which I think everyone who is applying to top schools, you should keep in mind that what you think is normal, it may not actually be normal to people outside the process or outside what you are looking at. So just be authentic, be real. Guneet, one question which is in the minds of everyone, literally all candidates who I speak to, and a lot of them are on this call, they have this question. How do you select the best fit schools? You have, uh, you have uh, applied to US schools, you've applied to Indian schools. How do you do it? Like, that ROI question always pops up, but the ROI you can't actually calculate it if you think about it. So how did you go about it?
yeah. Uh, like before I say anything, it's a very personal fit or like a very personal choice for everyone, especially when you talk about India versus global, because that's again very specific to your call, I would say. For me, when you talk about selecting the business schools, I would say like don't be very optimistic or very pessimistic. Just like apply to different categories of schools. Just don't be fixated that I just want like an M7 and I won't be applying to any other school, because you never know like what kind of people are applying in your cycle, or like what kind of batch does the school want. So just like make categories that these I would be my top two schools, and in the middle ones I would go probably, if you, for me, because I was applying to the US, I had kept Ross, I had kept Stern, I had kept all of these different categories, and for the top schools I'd kept Wharton, I'd kept um like I think in M7 I just kept what?
Howard.
Yeah, I think Harvard also. But I unfortunately did not get the final calls from there. So because I had like applied to schools like Yale, Tuck, so I was able to have that option to go and attend, because these are also great schools. And then you also apply to like, if you want, you can apply to different geographies. I did not apply to schools in Europe, but people do apply to those schools like LBS or NCAD or wherever you want to go. And specifically talking about India, I did apply to ISB because I really like its curriculum, and it directly corresponds to what I wanted to do like after my MBA, which is management consulting. And I know it has some great pipeline there. So it's a very fit based question, like what you want to do, just like align um, your target, like what you want to do post your MBA with the kind of schools, because some schools are like probably better in some areas. So if you want like finance heavy schools, schools like Columbia, Stern are very good because they are in New York, so it gives you that exposure. But if I had some sustainability background, schools like Yale probably is like a better fit for me. So just like do some research on these schools. They might not differ a lot, but you will find some of the other factors which are like very specific to what you want to do post your MBA.
How
So
did you do the research to it? Like, how did you
uh,
approach it?
one thing is like talk to a lot of people, talk to people who are like doing their MBA from these schools, or like people who have done their research, and you can just go to their websites as well. You will get like a hang of it, like read a lot of reports. Like they do have these placement reports also that come out every year, that this like XYZ% of the batch got placed in management consulting, in tech, or like in finance. So like just look at those stats as well. What kind of companies are coming to that school? Where are the people getting placed at? And just talk to people, because more than just the stats, they will also tell you about the culture of that university, which is very important because you will be like very far from your home. You need to fit into that environment as well. So I would say culture wise also, like look at the soft skills also, and not just, you will get the result. So um, I think just all of these factors do come in handy.
All right. And one follow-up question to this, that how do you actually reach out to these people? What you mentioned websites, but is there any secret to this? Is there like, how did you just cold reach out on LinkedIn, or like any specific strategy which people can look at, because this is very hard honestly for candidates, especially for M7. It's very hard to catch hold of friendly people who will give advice. So if there are any insights here.
Yeah. So I would say look at your personal connections first. If you have someone already studying in these schools, that's your best bet, because those people would be like most comfortable, most available to answer your questions. If that is not the case, I feel then like it would be a cold reach out, but then reach out to a lot of people. um, like 2 out of 10 people might reply to you. Of course you won't get replies from everyone, and that's okay, just don't get disheartened. But like reach out to maximum people as possible that you can find some common connections. um like if you can like look at the LinkedIn and the profile of the people, if they're like from your own industry, like just maybe like
Find common interests basically.
yeah, like just
Yeah.
filter out the people whom you feel might have the best chance with. And also like these webs, like the school website, they also have these point of contacts. Like there are some students
Ambassadors.
already, yeah, like ambassadors.
Yeah.
So like just reach out to them, because they are also like available. Like you might get delayed responses, but you will get a response eventually. So I think all of these things only, like these two, three ways.
I think even Top Meet is a nice like
Yeah,
platform to discover people who are ready to talk. Uh,
yeah,
that is like a lot of my students have used it to discover it. So I think that is quite good that way.
yeah.
And like, one last question about like different applying to different schools. Uh, how do you plan the process, like, because you can't do it all at once. You can't like apply in one round. It's physically impossible to do it. And did you tailor the application to every school? Like, how did you tailor it? What was your mindset around it?
Yeah. Uh, for me, it was a very different experience altogether, because the attempt that I gave was in January 2025, when I got the 695 score. And all of these schools had a deadline of 6th, 7th of Jan, and I'd given it on 2nd Jan. So I had a very small window to work with. But like these schools release their essays, questions way before. Like most of the schools already have their questions out there. So if you're not confident about your score right now, just give it some time. But probably in like if you're applying in round two, then in October, November, just get a sense of what these questions are, so that in the background, maybe just keep thinking about the answers or the stories that you want to put, because once you're writing your essays, it will not come to you very easily.
Yeah,
It
that's true.
takes a lot of time and iterations to like actually get to that point. So just start that process a bit early, if not formally, but informally, just about having some idea about what you want to write about. And for that, you need to know what kind of essay questions are there. So, like, whenever you find time, just read what those questions are. Just don't write
Yeah.
your answers, but because while you're traveling or you're out, it might just like it might strike you that this can be used, or probably put it
Yeah.
in your notes app or something like that. So it will help you build things later on, definitely.
Yeah, honestly, like if you're thinking of applying even later, like 1 year later in next cycle, it is very useful to actually look at the questions of this year, because
Yeah,
because the questions usually, like maybe 20%, 30% they change. Otherwise, it's the same.
agree.
Especially schools like Stanford, the questions are the same, and it does require a lot of thought. So thank you so much, Guneet. We will just do a quick rapid fire. Just keep it rapid full of fire, how it usually goes. So, first question, biggest mistake an applicant makes, like usually makes.
I think not being consistent would be,
Absolutely. Which is one thing you have started earlier in the application process.
nothing. Honestly, I was never on time for anything, so I did not start anything early. I just took a lot of time to complete those things on time. So
Okay. Um, how, like, just a little controversial here, but maybe a target school with a scholarship versus a dream school without a scholarship. Which one would you pick?
I think target school with a scholarship.
Target school with a scholarship. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And rankings of fit, which really mattered more in
Fit, fit.
fit. Okay. What is one thing you did to manage application anxiety? Because it's real.
I think focus, like just focus, clarity on target. That's it.
And CV, essays, interviews, what was the hardest to get right?
I think essays. Yeah. Because
Okay.
there's no right or wrong there. In interviews, it's like still a bit,
They're always right.
yeah.
People are iterating even the end, like in the end moment, one day before the application is due. It's a lot.
Also done it like 5 minutes before submitting. Also, have changed words because
Yeah,
we have limited space. So
that's
it's
right. That's right. So if someone is applying in 3 months, what should they focus on first? Like, maybe 3 months नहीं to first round, maybe
first round. I think September.
1 month, 1 month, yeah.
And uh, I hope you have your score. Like, just get done with them, because otherwise you won't be able to focus on your apps. Uh,
Right.
so that
And if someone is applying in, say, 12 months, in terms of applications, what should they start building?
I think fundamentals for your whatever GMAT GRE that you're trying to give, just like start with the basics and get done with your test first, because that's step one, and then probably focus on application.
Okay. And last question, what do you think applicants should not add in their profile or in their essay just for the admission sake?
Achievements, because you already kind of listed out in your resume, because you uploaded along with your application, so they already know that. Just don't repeat what's already on your resume in your essays, unless and until it's extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like even random searching here and there, that is little tricky to add in application.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can close like my segment of the thing. Thank you so much for these insights. We can open the floor to questions, like maybe a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Um does anyone have any questions?
Uh, and guys, if you have any question, feel free to put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask question directly to Guneet or to Shivani or to me. So feel free.
Yeah. There is a question Alicia has asked. Maybe you can give some insights about it. Uh, is it the right time to start preparation in the second year of college? Is it too early? How to manage preparation alongside college?
Okay,
Pankaj has replied, but
I
Guneet,
replied. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I can add one more thing here. The answer to the question, uh, that is how to manage your test prep with the college. I would say that's easier than to manage it
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
full-time
100%,
job. Trust me on
100%.
this.
Yeah,
Even if you are doing a very rigorous program, trust me, when you start working, especially for 4 to 5 years of work experience with lot of responsibilities and also a lot of gap, we should consider that as well. I
yeah,
always see people struggling going back to studies after 10, 15 years of work experience, because people do take GMAT GR even after 10 or 15 years of work experience, right? So take out time after college, before college, even during college. I'm helping someone who is in Narsi Munji. She's doing BCom, Eco. Yeah, and she what she does that she goes to the college and she makes sure that she studies after college. So she spent
yeah.
1 to 2 hours very easily after college. So yeah, so that depends on your schedule. But yes, this is how you should plan your prep with college studies.
Yeah. No, no, absolutely. I had taken my GMAT myself in my third year of college, and I
Yeah,
think it was a blessing because I saw my peers prepare for it after like 3 years of graduating. It was very hard,
right,
and
right.
people really cry for it. Like it was very hard.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
thing, if you're still in college, I would really, really urge you to keep your grades up, your college grades, because that is one thing you cannot change. Like however much you want, you cannot change that. You need to have at least the top 10 percentile of your class. That is like a very good place to be. And a
yeah,
lot of people realize it, towards the end of college or, after they've graduated, that, shucks, I should have worked on my grades a little bit. And a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
UK schools also, for that matter, they have this, they have a cutoff for the uh, for your grades, college grades as well. Like you need to have a first class degree to apply to some colleges. So please, work on that. And profiling, of course, is something which you can, like, it's never too early. If you get to know what you want to do, start early, build it, uh, in a big way. And that always helps in MB apps. Guneet,
Right,
have
right,
anything to say?
No, no, definitely. I couldn't can't agree more that you won't be able to prep or you won't have that headset to prep while you're working. So since you're in college or while in college, you're in better headspace. Just try to, if you have time, it's comparatively easier to prep, as I think you guys have also said.
Yeah.
right, right. Okay, Guneet, there is a question by Sumit on the chat section. His question is that could you dwell a bit on how you tackled DI part, which is a scary part of GMAT? So,
Yeah.
what was your score? Were you able to complete all the questions on time? Did you make any guess on some questions? Any tips on DI?
So I think my score on DI was DI 83. And I mean, and yes, to answer the question, I did make, I think, some guesses, a couple of guesses, because I didn't want to leave a question because I know that has a penalty. So I would rather like make a smart guess than leave it out altogether. But practice different cases, or I would say different kinds of questions. In DI, it's important, not in quant, but in DI, if you have even seen related questions before, it just gives you that confidence that probably you can solve it in the actual exam. So just try to do a lot of different questions. And sometimes you might be lucky that you get an easy one, and at the same time slightly unlucky that you get a very difficult set. But just take information piece by piece, question by question, and just try to solve it and practice as much DI as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? I think in GMAT there is this thing that if you get difficult questions, it's a good thing. Like it's like you feel satisfied during the test when it is getting
Yeah, yeah,
that your score is probably increasing.
They
yeah,
don't. I did not like did not scare myself that am I getting easy or difficult questions, because I thought
yeah,
that would
correct.
catch up with me, and
Yeah, yeah.
did not think about the level during the exam at least.
Definitely. Don't analyze this because that
Yeah.
never helps. Never, never helps. And you also need to understand that some questions are experimental. We can talk about,
Huh.
you can always Google about that. So it's not that it's always true. So it's a myth, right? That if you get an easier question, I'm not getting, in the right way. No, it's not definitely true. Even if you get a lot of easy questions in a row, fine, you're not going, the right way. You may not, you maybe got some questions wrong, but you can't help it. You cannot go back and change the answer. I know there
Yeah.
is an edit and review feature, but that doesn't help, guys. So GMAT is a game of getting most of the questions correct in the given time. So don't do this analysis while taking a mock or actual test.
True.
Never, never helps.
I mean,
So
maybe you're
yeah,
good at that topic as well. Like maybe you're good at that
that's true.
specific
That's
thing.
true. That's
So
that's
you're
also in
finding,
fact the explanation by GMAC
yeah.
that maybe Guneet is good at stats. I am not good at stats. So she find that question easy. I find that question hard, right? So that's very true. One question from my side, Guneet, because I'm sure that's the discussion, around or in among a lot of communities, a lot of people who are planning to, go for MBA. So you applied to more schools in US, you applied to ISB also. Now, because a lot of things are going in US, whether it's geopolitical, H-1B visas, now there are some changes in F-1 visas also, and AI taking jobs, right? So why did you choose US where a lot of people are, keeping them away from US these days? So what was your take?
Honestly, personally, I was very clear that I wanted to do it from the US. Like that was a preferred target. Not that other
Mhm.
schools are not great, like NC and ISB are great schools, but
Yeah,
to me, I just had that these are some of the best business schools. Probably I should target these. And again, like since there's so many, just get to know about your fit, as I said before. And then I personally feel the kind of jobs that are there in the US, probably you won't get that exposure or that kind of, even like the kind of companies that come anywhere else in the world, because so I think for me, it's about what I want to do post, which I said management consulting again. That's also here in India, but I feel like your experience is a lot more different. You're getting to work with a very diverse set of people there. You're getting
yeah,
to know people from different cultures, which probably you won't get at ISB. But ISB will let you, like would put you at Bain front end or McKinsey front end. But if you're someone who wants to like do more about it and I would wanted a more fuller experience, that is why I stuck to, I wanted to do it from the US. But that said, it's very valid. There are like a lot of things going on, so like be a bit more, like read a bit more, talk to more people, whether if it's the right time and the things are right, have that clarity, like, and be open that if you want to move after, like, just don't go with the thought that if I'm going to the US, I will stay there like forever. There is always
yeah.
to come back, and probably if you're getting good scholarship. So I think it there's a lot of factors that you need to weigh when you are in that position.
I think a couple of more things which you can actually see is the strength of the alumni network.
Yeah,
That is something which always helps. Like, I'm a part of the ISB one, but I know that people who are M7, they have a great support system even in India in case
yeah,
they want to come back. the transition is not that hard.
Yeah.
So you need to be very thoughtful with your decision, and yeah, it is hard. Like it is a hard decision to go. Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
Couple of
Guys, if you have no more question, let's end it
there are
here.
a couple of more questions on the
Okay,
chat.
sorry.
We can maybe deal with it. How many mocks are sufficient? How many months should you devote for mocks?
Guneet, would you like to take it?
Uh, it really depends on where you're at in your journey. I would say like give one mock initially just to see where you're at, like to set your baseline. That you know what my weak areas are, strong areas are, and then work towards your desired score. Then once you're satisfied with your, I think, concepts and prep and timing, etc., then I think start increasing your frequency of mocks during, like, I would say the last phase, like the last 1 month. Like probably just give it every weekend, but it works like differently for everyone. But just to ensure that you are not stressing a lot during the main exam and your timing works, giving mocks is very important, and giving full mocks is very important. That's what I learned from PrepSet as well. I used to give a lot of sectionals. I did not have that
Mm,
I had to sit for 3 hours, 2.5 hours straight, and focus in every sections. That only comes when you give full mocks. So do give full mocks, very less initially, but increase that towards the end of your prep.
yeah, right. So I would say here that there is a proper testing phase, guys, whether it's GMAT or GRE or any standardized test. And you need to ask yourself that why you are taking a mock. Are you taking a mock just to work on your time management or stamina building, or you really want to improve your score? So there are different outcomes. People do take a lot of mocks just to improve their pacing. So that's a totally, the legit reason to take a mock, right? So, but it's not uh, true that, or you should not take mock for the sake of taking a mock, because people sometimes get this from internet or from someone's experience that okay, he took a mock every day, in the last week of the prep. No, you don't need to take a mock every day. I don't know where is this coming from. I'm really, really against this idea that taking a mock every day. You take a mock, analyze the mock, do the analysis. Where is the gap? Why you are not hitting your target score? Because if you are hitting your target score, you don't need to take more mocks, right? You are taking more mocks because you are not getting your target score, right? But you are thinking that if I take more mocks, I will hit my target score. No, unfortunately, it doesn't work this way. Analyze the mock, where is the gap, work on that gap, and then take another mock. You should be confident that, okay, I think I'm now better prepared than my last mock. Take one more, right? If it's only for stamina building, time management, yes, you can take a lot of mocks for that. And also for performance anxiety. There's no other way. You have to go through that. If you're feeling anxious while taking a mock, even, I can give you a lot of gyan, but it doesn't work that way. You have to go through that anxiety phase a lot of time so that you get comfortable with the test. So that's my, you know, advice on this. One more question in the chat, and I can see a hand raise also. So Yuti, let me take that question first. So it says by Sumit, this question is, with AI being handy, you tend to use it a lot while doing applications. How did you manage that? How did you balance its usage? Any tips on that? Also, Guneet, if you used AI for GMAT prep, you know, please let us know about your experience with that also.
Okay. So for the applications, yes, you'll be tempted to use AI a lot. And to be really honest, I also used it, but very carefully and in parts, because the schools are very smart. They will get to know if something is AI generated. It's very easily identifiable. So just make your story on your own, write your drafts on your own, just for, like, I would say, basic refinements. Use AI, and this is something which, like, most schools allow as well. So now they have this AI policy in place, and you will get to see in your application portal also that AI is allowed, but just like use it very, very carefully. If they get even like a little suspicious that everything is AI and whatever, they will not would not go ahead. So for your own sake, just don't use AI a lot. Just use it for refinements. And for GMAT prep, I did actually use AI. So more than AI, I used a lot of trackers, to be honest. Like I had these Excel trackers in place because I was not able to get my timing right. I used to time each and every time I used to sit and study. Like every RC had a time in front of it. Like what time did I take approximately to solve it? How much time did I take 20 questions of probably stats to solve? And what was my accuracy? So having that tracker really helped me like build my next steps. Like if I am not able to get, if I'm getting the timing right but not accuracy, that means my concepts still lack here and there, because first you need to solve for concepts and then accuracy is what I feel. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
One point here, you can make a tracker and error log. And tracker, you can make a simple tracker like a spreadsheet on Google Drive, right?
yeah.
Simply put what all questions you are doing, because tracker really helps you to understand, okay, I'm really struggling in this topic, but I'm really good at this topic.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one. And error log, why you're getting a question wrong. Is it because of concept, application, pacing, stamina, whatever the reason is, so that we can see a pattern that you're getting question wrong because of this reason, or this is one of the, most important reason, or this is the major reason. So yeah, so error log helps that way. Okay, Yuti, please feel
About
free to,
I just
yeah,
wanted to
sorry.
add a couple of like things about the AI aspect. I see a lot of candidates getting that itch key. Okay, let's just add the AI answer. Let us just add the AI draft in the thing. But now it is very easily identifiable, like Guneet mentioned. Yesterday there was literally a news that Claude will have a transparent watermark. I don't know what that means, but I would not test it if I were you. I would try to add my own experiences and try to add my own story over there. One thing which AI does to your essays is essentially make it very general. Okay, it makes it uh, sound like every other essay, and every uh, it normalizes a lot of things. Like, I want to go to I want to go for an MBA to get into consulting. It will give me exposure. Okay, this is like a standard line. But Guneet and many successful people who have gotten into these successfully gotten into these schools, they have actually mentioned the story behind why they want to get into consulting after MBA, why they are not doing it without an MBA. So these experiences, this AI cannot make up. These things are unique to you and your work experience, your understanding of situations, your maturity. So those things are things which AI cannot make up, and that is what actually makes your application special, and that is what they want. Okay, so please work very hard on getting your story right and making sure that you are not being generic, you are not being, uh, you are telling your story, your authentic story, the code word being authentic.
Right.
Yeah. Yuti, please go ahead.
Hi, I had a very specific question, actually going a little off track. Since I have family business experience and a lot of applications, consider, like a lot of colleges would consider that. While looking at applications for a lot of colleges, I realized that while adding my experience, the annual CTC compensation is a mandatory criteria which I would have to fill. But if I haven't worked on the salary slips from my family business, is there a way I could work around that?
So there are some colleges have the option of, like, is this your own business? They have
Right.
that option to add that. If you don't have that, like if that college doesn't have the CDC, you definitely must be getting salary, even if
Yeah.
you're a director of the family business.
Yeah.
That is something which you can add in the details, or you can always message the specific uh, admissions officer for a solution, because lot of people go from family business backgrounds. Like it's not a unique position, and
Right.
usually, like schools like ISB will have this metric of turnover, like annual turnover. You write
Yeah,
the number of employees who work in the business. So just to understand the scale, they will do that. Like because it's very hard to define the salary component in a family business situation. So it
yeah,
is like it is very specific to the school. You can reach out to me if you have any like any specific queries about this. And it is like it is not a big issue. This
got it, got
yeah.
it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? I think we can wrap up. Pankaj, are you there?
Hello, sorry.
Pankaj can't see your video.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can wrap up, Pankaj. No more questions.
Yeah, if there are no more questions, guys, we can wrap it up now. Any questions?
I
Okay.
I think we are.
Fine. Guys, I'm just putting my contact details in the chat. If you have any questions for me regarding test prep, feel free to reach out. And you can also reach out to Shivani for any queries regarding admission process for any schools around the world. And Guneet, let me take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for your time. So Guneet is flying to US very soon, and she still took her time to
Yeah.
No,
for
no, no.
this. So
Thanks to you and Shivani both for like helping me reach here at the first place, and to everyone in case you guys need any help from me in terms of specific questions about US schools, happy to answer those. You can reach out to me directly also.
And thank you
great.
so much, Guneet. It was so good, and I'm so sure that everyone who attended has gotten a lot out of it. And uh, all the very best for Tuck, and it's just going to be fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.